Hi, I'm Liz. I'm in year 12. I've been speaking English for as long as I can remember, since kindergarten probably.
My name is Mana. I'm in year 12 and I've been speaking English for almost 10 years.
But then, for me, I think it could make the students kind of afraid to speak because they're going to be afraid of making mistakes and probably not sounding smart. At least for me, I remember that was kind of like that for a while, where I was just too scared to say it, to speak, because I was too scared to make a mistake.
But I guess that depends on how the teacher approaches you, because sometimes they make fun of you.
Yeah, if it's a passive comment made oh, just this is how you say it, instead of, hey, you said that wrong, you're wrong, that's not how you say that. Yeah. I don't know, probably to give students more confidence, to not only focus on their mistakes, but to also focus on their achievements. So if a student starts speaking more, when I think support for the student is also important, because students may feel discouraged and talk less, so positive affirmations, probably not too formal, so the student feels kind of a friendly environment, oh yeah, good job, I saw you talking more, you have your pronunciation has improved. So teachers shouldn't only focus on what the student got wrong, because I think it's quite discouraging for the students if all the time it's, oh, you pronounced this wrong, you pronounced that wrong. So yeah, I think focus on the positives.
And on the topic of guidance, some teachers just go through everything themselves and don't really give students room to think of their own interpretation of things. So it might be helpful sometimes to not just give everything. I mean, sometimes the words in math and in a different topic mean different things, so it's a bit and when they expect you to know it, it's a bit difficult to adjust to that.
They're the expectations probably should be a bit lower because it is hard to juggle both. For example, English idioms, I think some students, it's hard to understand it if you're not a native speaker. And then there's also so much vocabulary that you have to remember for different subjects. So probably not to be too harsh on students who can't remember that vocabulary, or have some sort of thing that helps them remember. If the student is more of a visual learner, make a, I don't know, a poster of the, or make an activity where the student has to go do something to do with the words that could give them something. Oh, they go by association, oh, I remember this word, we did that to do with this word. So I guess that could help.
Right, hi, Erica. Hi, how are you doing this morning? Good? So, we were given the task as advanced language learners to come and have a conversation with each other today, right? And yeah, I just wanted to start by asking you, what made you an advanced language learner? In becoming a quote-unquote advanced language learner, not my words, but I think you need a lot of practice outside of class. Sure, if you learn in class, it doesn't really matter what the teacher teaches. If you don't absorb it in, no matter how good the teacher is, it won't work. So I think it does come a lot from the individual. And just by watching videos, reading a lot of articles, it's cliche, but I think it helps a lot.
Yeah, and I think you need to use it as well. And I think especially if you speak it at home, then it makes you more fluent in it.
But I actually never spoke English. I don't speak English.
But you think in English, right?
Not necessarily. So it depends sometimes. quite like when you're like Duolingo, is it? No. Is it actually the word? Yeah, that word. You think in both Thai and English sometimes. What, do you only think in English?
Yeah, I don't really think in Thai. I think that's like, cause you know like when I write stuff,
Yeah.
I feel like it just comes out naturally. I don't have to think of the grammar
words.
or stuff.
Yeah,
something like that.
I get that too. Like when you're writing an essay in every subject, you don't plan out exactly what you're gonna say. It just
Yeah.
comes out like
Yeah,
naturally.
you just think of the ideas.
Yeah, and then it just comes out. So obviously what we've been talking about is, we just said the main message we had was it can't be learned, which obviously isn't really good for the purposes of this conversation. Obviously, we still stand by the message that a lot of it has to be down to the individual, but let's try and pinpoint specifics where teachers can actually implement in class to even help us assist in the process.
I think if we're learning a new word, if the teacher says a new word, I think it's really useful for them to say the word and then give synonyms like straight away.
Yeah.
Or like if they're making a list to describe something, like they could just say similar words that they know that we know and then add a new word that means a similar thing and then just
Yeah.
continue. I think that's useful.
Yeah, and another thing is like, I think you have to prioritize like quality over quantity. So there's no point of going through 20 new words in each
Yeah.
class. There's no way someone's gonna remember it. You have to
Yeah.
like actually, like yesterday for example, foil, I remember it because we spent like 5 minutes or 10 minutes just on that word alone and giving a lot of examples. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we have to spend quite a long time on each new word for it to actually go in your head.
Yeah, and then you can actually use it. So what about the way we speak? Because, you know, sometimes you have to speak in front of people. So what in class has helped you with this?
It's actually quite a difficult question because I remember, I've never told really anyone this, but I remember that the reason why my pronunciation got better over the years is because I actively thought about it all the time when I spoke. So like, if you listen to what I said in year 7 or 6, you have like a tinge of Thai accent, which I was really conscious of it, even though I never told anyone, and I always constantly try to improve. And again, this is still down to the individual. Like teachers can encourage it, but the individual also has to identify their own issues and then improve. To be honest, even though I didn't show that, even though like I might have acted as if I wasn't welcoming of it, I think it was generally good to be corrected. And especially now looking back, I'm grateful that it's a good thing that you did it.
Yeah, I think especially with like if they mispronounce a word,
Yeah.
I think they want to know that they've been mispronouncing a word, but maybe say it in a way that doesn't make them feel stupid.
And also I think one other key thing is when you do correct them, don't detract from what they're saying in the conversation, because that could be very frustrating, especially when you're speaking a language you're not used to. It's like me with Chinese, when I say something and my grammar is wrong and the teacher doesn't listen to what I'm saying, she only corrects what I'm saying, like what my mistakes, but also like to be corrected, the individual has to be corrected too.
Thanks very much, guys.
Good.